I've got a lot to say, but I want to try and make this short and sweet because a lot of you guys already know exactly what's happened on this show. I'm currently filming this around 4.5 hours after the show's gone off the air, so I'm not going to try and waste your time with some long-winded, move-by-move, analytical review because you guys don't care. Essentially, well, before I get into the main things on the show, I just want to say huge congratulations and I just want to say I'm so proud of all the people in the community tonight who experienced such great, viewership and channel traction because of their Extreme Rules review. I posted on Twitter, the main tips you need to do to maximize traction, maximize all that stuff in your review. Awesome to see some of the numbers in the community. I'm really proud of you guys, so yeah, that's great. Also, I'm one sub off 650, so can someone make that happen? If you're not subscribed, can just one person hit the sub button, please? Just one off 650. Can you make that happen, please, please, please? So that's the kind of basic stuff to get off the top. As for the show itself, I've seen people say this is the worst pay-per-view of the year. No, it wasn't the worst pay-per-view of the year. Yes, some of the finishes are a bit weird, but it wasn't the worst pay-per-view of the year. If you're taking a show like Money in the Bank if you're taking Saudi Showdown ahead of this, what's wrong with you? You'd prefer to see Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns in a steel cage, Goldberg squashing the Fiend. You'd prefer Super Showdown to Extreme Rules tonight. Give me a break. This show, it wasn't amazing by any means, but I'd put it right on par with Backlash and Money in the Bank. I really would. It had its ups, had some downs, like the endings to the matches. As you can see here, Rey Mysterio, this whole eye for an eye thing, this is the big talking point of the show. This is what's given a lot of people all their viewership and all their views on their reviews. Rey Mysterio in the eye. As you can see here, this whole thing was just, I don't even know, dude. So they do Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, an eye for an eye. They do the match, and it's like 13 minutes of them doing regular wrestling, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this? They're doing like grappling and rest holds and Irish whips and punching in the corner. I'm like, they're not trying to rip each other's eyes out. What is this? So eventually Seth Rollins gets Rey Mysterio's eye. They do the whole thing on the corner of the steel steps, and then Mysterio's clutching his face, and we see this visual right here. You can see it on the right of the screen. This eye, this fake eye is just there. Like, that's, of course, not going to have Rey Mysterio's real eye come out. This is WWE in 2020. They're not going to actually do that. So, Rey Mysterio lost his eye tonight, even though he didn't. So, I guess he's going to be off TV from now on. This whole thing was a bit ridiculous. Like, I can break my suspension of disbelief only so far. I didn't love this. It's definitely a big talking point, for sure. It's given a lot of people a lot of views tonight, but at the same time, really? Really? And then Rollins was like throwing up. It was just corny. The stuff with Rollins was so disgusted and he was about to puke and all that. That was just, wasn't the best. So that was the eye for an eye thing. Then the other big talking point really is the Raw Women's title. Now, what they did with this, so it was Asuka versus Sasha Banks. This was the match I was most looking forward to heading into the show. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. The match itself, I mean, they had a good match. Like, genuinely, was it some 5-star Bayley versus Sasha Banks takeover Brooklyn Classic? No. Was the crowd a little annoying in it? Yes. But at the same time, the match itself was good. It was Asuka, Sasha Banks. It's never going to be a bad match. It wasn't blow away, amazing, fantastic, but it was entertaining, and that's the main thing. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, the match, I'd say probably was like a 4-star match-ish around there. Then the finish happened. So, the finish, you get Bayley involved throughout the match. Eventually, one of the women's tag belts gets involved. The referee confiscates it. Then, Sasha Banks is like, talking to the ref. Asuka goes to spit green mist at the Sasha or something. And then the ref gets hit with the green mist, or did he? I don't even know. The ref goes down like he's been shot. Bayley gets into the ring and then takes the referee's top off, puts it on herself, and then Bayley, it's just a bit of a mess. Basically, Asuka ends up getting hit with the title belt. Asuka gets laid out. Sasha covers her. 1, 2, 3. Bayley counts the fall. So, Sasha Banks is the Raw Women's Champion, I guess. This is the kind of thing where tomorrow night on Raw, we're probably going to have like Stephanie McMahon come out and say, that wasn't a clean finish. I'm giving the title back to Asuka or something. They're not going to have Sasha Banks be the Raw Women's Champion based off that finish. There's going to be some BS where Bayley and Sasha argue. I don't even know. The whole thing was a bit of a mess. It really was. Like, I guess it creates interest for tomorrow night on Raw, But at the same time, I don't even know, fam. So, yeah, that ending was just bizarre. It really was. As for the rest of the show, I mean, obviously Bayley beat Nikki Cross. Nothing really to talk about there. Let's see. I mean, I guess I'll talk about the swamp fight next. So, the main event of the show was the big swamp fight between Bray Wyatt as his cult leader self against Braun Strowman. It was good. Like, it wasn't a bad, like, viewing experience. I think if you're saying this was garbage, I don't know what you watched. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't some, like, boneyard match. The boneyard match is, like, the center of excellence as far as the cinematic stuff. This match, this whole, swamp fight, I like the stuff where they had Alexa Bliss involved as, like, Sister Abigail. I thought that was good. I thought, it was something. They did something to try and evolve Braun Strowman's character, because as much as I've made fun of Braun Strowman for being a one-dimensional, white trash, redneck hick, it gave him some character development. Braun Strowman looking at his past self and having the flashbacks, and Bray Wyatt's there, and eventually they're just punching each other in the swamp. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the swamp fight. I thought it was good. It was entertaining. It's worth a watch if you didn't see it. So, yeah, I mean, that was the swamp fight. In the end, basically, Braun Strowman got, like, dunked underwater or something, and then the Fiend just emerged. So, I guess we're getting the Fiend versus Braun Strowman next, or maybe Roman Reigns is coming back. I don't even know. At this point, after this show, I'm just so confused. A lot of these outcomes have me so just baffled. Like, the way they booked the eye for an eye, having Sasha Banks win with Bayley count the fall, this ending. I mean, it was a cool ending to the pay-per-view, I'll give them that. So, I mean, that was the ending there. The rest of this show, there's not even that much to cover really outside of that. I mean, the kickoff was Kevin Owens and Murphy. I didn't even watch it because, I mean, screw the kickoff show. Who really gives a damn? What even else happened? So we had that. Oh, yeah, we had the opener, which was the tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We had Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on the New Day. This was probably the most enjoyable match of the night, I found. I mean, well, like the thing with this Extreme Rules show, Asuka and Sasha Banks was, entertaining up until the finish. The Fiend, it's not the Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Strowman, the swamp fight was entertaining. The eye for an eye thing I didn't like much. This match here, the tag title table match, I enjoyed it. It was a good opener. Nakamura is now the champion, or SmackDown Tag Champion, so that makes 3 straight years where he's won a title at Extreme Rules. Was it 3 straight years? Did he win one in 2018 or 2017? I don't know, but last year he won the IC title. This year he won the SmackDown Tag title. Either 2017 or 2018 he won the US title. So Nakamura's got a good run going at Extreme Rules. As for the rest of the show, basically MVP came out, said that Apollo Crews is like injured or something, and now MVP's the champion. So in other words, Apollo Crews has CV, most likely, so MVP's just going to say he's a champion for another month. So that was Extreme Rules. Overall, I'd probably give this show like a 7. Like, the matches are enjoyable, the finishes are a bit dodgy, it wasn't a horrible show. If you're saying it's the worst pay-per-view of the year, I don't know what you're watching. If you're honestly taking Super Showdown ahead of this, I don't even know, fam. So yeah, that's been the review. Hopefully you've enjoyed my late, out-of-date Extreme Rules review. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subjects, and a drill. See ya.